I am Sandy Parker Martinez, and I am here with someone that I not only respect, but admire. And that's kind of weird because admiration is like she just takes off to Bali, like living life. So, Amber Howard, I am so happy to be with you.
Mm. It's always such a gift to be with you, Sandy.
And I
Yeah,
have the
thank you.
question. I can't wait to hear your answer. What does a woman need to have a great life?
Mm. When you first asked me that question, there's like so many things come to mind, right? Like I'm like, wow, not just a woman, but like anyone, like we need awareness of like who we are in our life, and we need tools, and we need the willingness to like have the things that we want. And then, what underpins it all for me, and if I think about my journey to get to Bali, to get to the life I have today, and I think this is true for every human being, but I think it's especially true for women, is we need worthiness. Like we need to love ourselves. We need to go on whatever that journey is of healing that, again, every human needs to go through. But I think for women, so much of our life has been like conditioned, and we've been taught to believe things about ourselves and about our role and what it is to be acceptable or admirable, or any of these things, right? We're moms, we work, our role in society has changed so much. And almost every single woman that I have ever, well, I'm not going to say almost every single woman that I have ever connected with has dealt with and is in various stages of dealing with some conversation they have about their own worth, whether they're good enough, whether they're, acceptable, or, and all of those notions get in the way of us being able to actually really authentically answer that question. Because you're saying, what do we need in order to have a great life? Well, I think having a great life is having a life that's designed on our own terms. It's designed based on what we authentically want. But you can't even ask that question until you love yourself.
First said that, I was like, it like hit my heart. Like
Yeah.
worthiness. Like where does that come from anyway?
Mm.
Worthiness. Like how do I know if I'm worthy? Where do I get that? Do I just decide I am? Or did I get it from my mom? Or, where does that come from, that sense of worthiness?
You say, did I get it from my mom? I remember the first time I read You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And in that book, she says, when it comes to the topic of like blaming our parents for how we ended up in life or what our lives look like, she said, your parents couldn't possibly teach you something they themselves didn't know. And it was like a smack upside the back of my head when I read that for the first time. My parents loved me enormously, but neither of my parents, because of the trauma that they went through as a child, had a shot in teaching me what it looked like to be worthy or how to love myself, because they just didn't have access to that. It was not in their toolkit. It was not available to them. They did not love themselves when they had me. And so I grew up not knowing what that was. And I had to go looking for. And I don't know that there is a singular answer, but I think it starts with getting to know yourself and looking at your life and looking at your patterns of behavior, looking at um, that, what is that voice in your head telling you all the time?
So,
There was a time in my life, just real quick, there was a time in my life where my internal dialogue was disgusting. Up until 2016, like the voice inside of my head and the things it would say about myself. So, what are you saying to yourself on repeat all the time? For anyone listening to this conversation, what is that voice saying to you? How do you judge yourself? And how do you allow those conversations that you have about yourself to get in the way of you being able to create the things that you really want in life? What is that, how is that judge sabotaging you having what you want and creating what you want?
yeah, I'm doing this study right now in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, that Jessica Marie rewrote for women.
Yep.
You know, I was all about it. I'm on like day 8 or something. And I woke up yesterday and I just went, who do you think you're kidding? I was like, where did that come from? That, I mean, been all about it. And then it's like, is this for real? I'm like, okay, voice inside, thanks for sharing. And let's look and get curious. Why am I saying that? Why am I thinking that?
Mm. About get curious, right? I had a mentor once who said the quality of your life is given by the quality of the questions you ask. And I think most of us, and for most of my life, did not ask quality questions, right? I would see other women or other people in my social network who were succeeding or seeming to succeed from the outside, right? Well, why not me? I work so hard. Why am I not able to have? I wasn't even, I would look at people who would go on expensive vacations or have nice things. And I'm not saying it's about whether you want stuff or not. Money is just a really easy way of either growing your impact or making your life more comfortable. But I would be jealous and compare where I was to where these other people were, but I couldn't even own that I wanted any of that stuff. Because I had such deeply embedded, shameful conversations about money. And beliefs about you can either have an impact and make a difference in the world or you can have money. And I didn't want to be someone who was perceived to be about making money, right? So
Mhm.
all of these limiting conversations, but I think that inquiry to me is the birthplace of creativity. It's like, what questions are you asking? Are they questions that are moving you forward? And then where are you getting the answers? Because you can't, when you're living from a place of deep shame and unworthiness, any answer you give yourself is not going to get you anywhere new. You have to start to surround yourself with people that are going to help you get to answers that are outside of what you know today. Because whatever you know has gotten you to where you are, but it's not going to take you to, the next level of expansion or growth or creativity or abundance.
So, in my mind, so I'm looking at it from the outside. Bali for you was an answer to worthiness.
Mm,
Like you had to decide you were worth having what you wanted.
yeah. And it took something like that, the conversations, leaving my kids, and like my kids are all in Canada and I'm here. My daughter was sick. I actually wrote a blog about it. My daughter was sick a week ago, and when I left, it's like, can the mother leave the nest before her children? My kids weren't ready to leave home, but I was feeling, I'd been a mom from a really young age, and I was starting to feel very resentful, which is I didn't want to. But I was ready to move on to the next stage of my life, and my children weren't necessarily, right? So it's like all of these, like in this community that you and I participate, Wisdom, we'd say networks of conversations that we inherit
Right.
limit what it is that we can create, right? So there's and it's like breaking those things down and examining them and giving up that they're truth, giving up that they're the truth about you or life or about the way life has to be. But Bali was definitely, and the fact that I'm still here. A friend asked me why I love being in Bali so much, and I gave my answer, which is kind of lengthy, so I won't go into it now. But what he said to me was, "It sounds to me like you found a place in the world where you're taking care of the way you've always taken care of everyone else your whole life." And it's like, yeah, I have, and that's what I needed this stage of my life. I need to be in an environment. I want to be in an environment where I am nurtured on every possible level, and I get that here. And yes, that means that it comes with pain because I'm away from my kids and I'm away from my mom and away from the people in my life who I really deeply care about. And one of the most beautiful gifts that they give me is the freedom to go and be where I need to be so that I can be nurtured and taken care of.
That is so beautiful. So beautiful. I don't know why I feel like I want to cry. It's so pretty.
Well, don't we just want that for everyone? I mean, this is you. You are one of my partners on this planet, right, Sandy? I think my commitment is that every single human being gets to live a created life of their own design based on what they authentically want. I think that's a great life. If you're living life that way, and it doesn't mean it's easy, and it's, like it's simplistic in some ways, because it just really requires you to keep asking and answering the question, what do I want now? What would I love now? But it takes something. There's a lot that you have to let go of and give up to be able to authentically answer that question. And I think that the start of that is examining your own worthiness and how much you love itself. And it sounds like a cliche answer, and but I don't know how you get to creating a life that you love without actually being worthy and deserving of having it.
One of the practices in this study on the book is envisioning what you want.
Yeah.
And I was like drawing a blank. I'm like, I can't think of anything I want. Well, that's so crazy.
Isn't it?
I'm like, how can you draw a blank on what I want? That's so crazy.
Well, because our desire muscle is super weak, right? Our fantasy muscle, as children, we have it. Go hang out. You want to like go, hang out with some children and like spend time in their energy. They've got no problem telling you what it is they want and when they want it and how much of it that they want. And they have a very powerful relationship to manifesting almost immediately what it is that they want into reality, right? But then they go to school and their daydreaming is mistaken for a lack of focus, and they're told to stop daydreaming, and they're told that, oh, you can't want a unicorn, you can't, unicorns don't exist, and well-meaning adults, it's not some conspiracy or a bunch of horrible adults, but just people living out their own patterning of what was told to them, right? We teach our children to stop dreaming and stop fantasizing and stop desiring things. And and I did this to my kids, right? It's like, oh, I don't have enough money to buy them all the stuff they want. So we should teach them that it's bad and wrong to want lots of things, that makes you a selfish person. When really, as a parent, I'm just not confronting my own limiting beliefs around money. Right? And so then my kid grows up to repeat that pattern of like, oh, it's wrong to want lots of things. I should desire less. And then we become adults who think it's bad and wrong to desire things.
It's funny, back in November when I ran into the Pink Ladies, I was learning to do AI art because I love being creative. And I could
Yes.
not get my ladies to look like this lady's ladies. I'm like, how are you doing that? Well, what I discovered was that you can't generate anything out of AI that you can't already describe.
Mm.
So I started creating my day using Midjourney and go, okay, today, who do I want to be? Okay, today I want to be a lady where every word that comes out of my mouth just sends vibrations around the world of positive and whatever. So then you start putting in the prompt, a 60-year-old woman with short, spiky hair wearing blah, 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 which is probably black and white stripes or polka dots, is sending positive words out. You can't even create something that automatically creates for you until you can describe it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, how can we live getting what we want if we can't even tell the world what we want back?
It's so good to go back, right? What were the things that you desired as a child? What were your dreams? Like you wanted to be an astronaut, you wanted to learn how to ride horses. Like go back and visit those places of your childhood in your mind to connect again with that part of you that desired and wanted with abandon and didn't think there was anything wrong with that. And one of the practices, because I often say to my clients, like if I could give you a blank canvas and unlimited paints in any color, what would you paint, right? What would you create? And people get really stopped by that, right? But another fun exercise could be like a life shopping list. Like, because I I believe, not like it's the truth, but I believe that I have enough money for the life that I have today. So if I want more money, then I need to want more things, right? Because it's an energy and it needs to flow. So where's that money going to? It's not just gonna, if I want more money, it's just gonna sit in my bank account, right? So it's like, what are the charities that you would love to support and
Right.
donate to? Where are the vacations you'd like to go on? What cut, are there any friends that you would like to, oh, maybe you'd like to have like a massive tea party every year for all of your friends and have it catered. And I don't know, Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Maybe you want to do these training programs or learn these skills or learn this language, or you'd like to have a personal trainer or a personal chef. But like actually get out a blank piece of paper or on your whiteboard or wherever, however you like to create, and start shopping in life. Because what if life was really like a massive Amazon warehouse that has everything in it and you could just say whatever you wanted?
I was in a workshop one time and we didn't have time to go out for lunch. So they were passing around a piece of paper, just write down what you want and we'll bring it in. And I remember this poignant moment where I said, I can't just write down what I want. I need the menu. I need finite choices. And
Yeah.
that was the point of the exercise. You don't go to a catalog shopping and go, I want you to tell me what my options are.
Mm-hmm.
But we do that with life, right? We like, I can't just possibly say what I want. I need to know what my options are.
For sure. And it's like not just saying what you want. One of the things that I've been wanting to take on and step more into is being a speaker. I've had quite a journey in life, and I think I have a lot to say that would be inspiring to other people, especially women. And I had it for a long time and then this is how we do life. It's like, well, we may want something and we finally admit that we want it, but then we create all of these conditions about how it needs to, oh, I've got to do all of this work on Facebook, or maybe I need to do this coaching program on how to be a speaker and all of that. And I've been efforting so much in different areas of my life. And then I had a couple of people in my life die at the end of 2023, and I kind of went into a period of being, not on social media as much, just dealing with whatever was at hand. And then just like seemingly out of the blue, this woman reaches out to me on LinkedIn, and I'm going to be speaking at a global women's forum in Dubai in November. Right. So it's like when we give up, I know, right? I'm very excited. I'm going to be talking on living
I
a
want to go
creative
with
life. And
you.
wouldn't that be fun? We have a big party in Dubai. All of these lovely women just come and hang out with me in Dubai in November. But
That
it's we don't, this is the thing. You don't have to know how to have it. You just have to be willing to say that you want it. And that is so hard for human beings. Because if we don't know how to get it, don't want to put ourselves at issue, at risk, at saying, I want that thing. And so these conversations of like giving up the how and like addressing your work, your conversations about your own worth and your own value, and then all of these networks of conversations that we inherit about what we should be as women, as mothers, as human beings, as whatever the category you want to talk about. Like these are all of the things that we get to inquire into and unpack and be willing to discover something new about.
Well, my girlfriend Amanda gave me this phrase. She said, you and I share rare air. And when I'm with you, I feel like I am sharing rare air. It's
Yes.
so beautiful. We have already in this few minutes had a master class in life. I mean, even if I could take in all that we just said, I would have a great life.
You would.
So
I
I
think.
just want to thank you so much for being Amber and being my partner and being willing to contribute your words and your voice to the benefit of the world. We have no idea where this is going to go and who it's going to reach, but I'm deeply
Oh,
grateful.
love you so much, Sandy. Thank you so much for the opportunity to have this conversation. Made my day.
Thank you.